CDS, or Common Display System, refers to the DUs, the display units being used for multiple purposes. The term CDS is a Boeing patent, just like ICAS is a Boeing patent. Aircraft manufacturers, they patent a lot of systems. Other people are allowed to use that system, but they can't call it the same. They have to call it something different. Okay, so CDS is a Boeing patent and it's used for the Common Display System. What does that mean? It means I can display on the same screens altitude, attitude, navigation, flight modes, engine and system data, all on the same screens. There are two different layouts. As you can see from here, we have the PFD-ND format or the EFIS map format. And I will explain now what we mean by this. So the PFD-ND, so this is the PFD is a primary flight display. And these are never changing. We always have the primary flight display on the outboard side. So here and here. So it's directly in front of the captain and the co-pilot, so they can see where they're going or where they're flying, up, down, left, right. They can see at all times their airspeed, their altitude, their attitude, and their heading, all on one screen. Inboard of that screen is the navigation display. Okay, so we've got PFD-ND. Okay, and the navigation displays shows the long-term navigation from to. And you can have different selections, different scenarios. You can have the compass rose, yeah, or you can have the expanded mode, whichever one you want. And then in the middle, you have the primary engine indicating panel and the secondary engine indicating panel. That's the PFD-ND format. For the EFIS map format, we have this arrangement here. Okay, and this, for anyone that was ever been on a 737 old classic or a 737-200 before EFIS, when they had the mechanical instruments, there was a format that pilots flew by called a T, where they had this arrangement. They had the attitude director indicator, where they had underneath it what they call the horizontal situation indicator. Okay, where they had the airspeed indicator and where they had the altimeter. Okay, and all these were arranged in a T shape. Some companies prefer this layout. Okay, so upon aircraft delivery or upon pin programming, software programming of the box, of the graphics generator that puts all these pictures up, you can have this format or you can have this format. I have to tell you that 90% of the world uses this format. This is what we're all used to in the countries other than the United States. The United States prefer this format. The engine indicating panels, the primary and the secondary, they're the same formats. It's just that this one is what they call this is the expanded mode. So primary, secondary. And this one is what they call the compact mode, which is you got everything all on one screen. I do this when I'm running the engines. So I've got everything on one screen. So I'm not looking up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. I'm looking here all the time. Or actually, I move this down here. So I'm not straining myself. And I'm looking at everything on one screen. So we'll stick to this format here because it's the most readily available format you will see in your lifetime and mine. And this is the PFD, the primary flight display. Okay, this is used for short-term navigation, or what I call up, down, left, right. That's what it's for. We go up, down, left, or right. And this is for short-term immediate navigation, what the pilot immediately needs to do to navigate the aircraft. I have the airspeed tape here. I have the altitude tape here. I have the altitude rate, the vertical speed here, how fast I'm climbing or descending in feet per minute. And I have the compass rose with the heading, this little white triangle here. That's the most important bit because that is my heading. Yes, the compass rose continues all around here, but I don't need to see it. All I need to see is this bit here, this 12 o'clock position is where I am heading. So we've got the primary flight display is displaying everything I need for immediate navigation, up, down, left, right. If I'm going up or down, I can see my altitude. I can see how fast I'm going. I can see by these command bars here, my flight director. I can see if I'm going up or down. If I'm going up, I see sky. If I'm going down, I see earth, ground. I can see what my heading is, all in one picture. Fantastic. All right, this is for immediate navigation, okay, or short-term navigation. The ND, the navigation display, is what we call for long-term navigation, and that's from A to B. So the pilot puts the flight plan in, or the FMS captures the flight plan automatically. Okay, and if we have a stored flight plan inside the FMS, it will give the pilot a recommended route from A to B and say, all right, so the parameters you've given me, the weight of the aircraft, the amount of fuel, your initial starting point, your destination, your requested altitude, the wind, the barometric pressure, and all of these factors, plus the weight of the passengers and the weight of the aircraft, the final weight, fuel weight, everything, catering. This is the flight plan from A to B. And it will give him a vertical and a lateral flight plan, which the autopilot will then follow once the autopilot is engaged. Okay, until the autopilot is engaged, the pilot will follow. But it's a long-term plan from takeoff up into climb, cruise, top of descent, and landing. Okay, so that's long-term. It's not short-term like up, down, left, right. Yes, we do go up, down, left, right. We do short-term navigation in between. We do have to climb, and we do have at the top of descent. We sort of even out, and then at top of descent we start descending again. So we do change our immediate navigation or our immediate attitudes, so to speak. But in greater terms, the navigation from A to B could last 4, 5, 6 hours, the whole duration of the flight. Okay. And so we can have two different options from the EFIS control panel. So we talked about these outboard of the autopilot. Co-pilot's got one for his controls, for his navigation display. The captain has one for his navigation display, and you can have either the compass card, the rose, with what we call, this is the HSI view, or a centered approach, where you have the aircraft. This is God's eye view. This is God looking above, looking at the aeroplane and what it's doing. This is the one option you can have, or you can have an expanded view of it, where you have, this is the aircraft, this triangle, and you can see an arc of 60 degrees ahead of you where you're heading, and what your selections are on your EFIS, okay, and where you are, left or right of that heading. Or here we are, this one's showing a glide slope that we're too low, we have to fly up. All right, so we have short-term navigation, primary flight display, long-term navigation, the nav display.